I know a lot of churches whose youth ministry is centered around one person or a couple of people, and I love ours here at Memorial Road because it's centered around about 150.
You know what I'm going to say?
No, I don't.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Wait, are you actually starting it? I'm not ready yet.
Well,
I'm just going to tell you. Just start. I just don't know how to get it started. Just tell me what to say to get started, and then I can totally. Okay, I'm just going to say Navigators in general, okay?
Cool.
I have loved having Navigators in our youth group because they make it seem like a family, because you get the older men. I'm so embarrassed. Okay, I don't know how people do these videos.
Our Navigators play a huge role in our ministry. To think about me, Brian, and Logan, 3 of us, and roughly around 250 students, there's just no way for us to be able to connect with that large of a number. So when we have our volunteers, our Navigators, involved in that way, so many more students are impacted and get to see Jesus through those adults. It's amazing what our volunteers are able to do, and a lot of times we don't really fully know until we hear after the fact that made it a point to go visit a student at a difficult time of their lives, or just being able to be present, which I think is a very powerful thing.
The Navigators have had such a big impact in my life. I don't know, I've just gotten really close to them because I love how invested they are into us. I love how much they care about me as a person and about my faith. I love how we share the same goal in life. Just even today, I went and got coffee with Carla Jones, and I'll get lunch with Shannon and Terry, and I love the laughs that we share and the memories that we're making as we can talk about God, share our faith, but also just tell each other funny stories and about our week.
In a youth group as big as ours, there's not really enough of Brian, Logan, and Curtis to go around for everybody. And so having the Navigators has really been beneficial to everybody. So like when Brian, Curtis, and Logan aren't available to talk to, you can always talk with the Navigators, like at Petty John. Some of them really started becoming mentors to me, and being able to see all of them in heaven at Petty John was really, really incredible.
Navigators are prayer warriors. They're always here for Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights, encouraging us and being there to listen to us. It's just kind of like a more staff in the youth group. I know for me, one example of a Navigator would be Amy Chapman. Last year, about this time, I was starting school and I was getting very anxious and worried about just all things to do with school. I texted her and I was like, hey Amy, could you please pray for me as I start the school year? And she texted back, oh yes, that's what I'm here for. I'm so glad that you were able to come and talk to me, and it just lifted my spirit. And there's multiple other Navigators who I think about. Shannon Phelps, she's been driving buses for us for as long as I can remember, and I just remember all of our funny laughs in the car, just getting to know one another, and it's very encouraging.
I really appreciate a lot just knowing that I have so many adults that help out with the youth group that I can lean back on, and I've had a lot of fun times with them on just mission trips and van rides on the way to different places, just also being up at the church with them, and I just appreciate everything that they have done for me through all the hard times I've had in my life, and they've just always been there.
When I think of Navigators, I think of moms who are there to help with logistics, and I think of guys who can build stuff for us and who are just constantly there to help. But I also think of people who are willing to just be on the same level as a student. A lot of times I will be talking to a group of girls and they'll be like, oh yeah, last Thursday my D group from 2011 went and got our nails painted. And I'm like, wow, even years later, Navigators are still staying in touch with our students, making a difference. I know that sometimes parents of students are Navigators because their student is in the youth group. But the Navigators who don't have kids in the youth group are super cool because they don't have a reason to be here other than the fact that they just want to be. And you're way cooler in the eyes of students as well, which is unfortunate for the rest of us. But we really appreciate all that Navigators do, and we are so thankful for their presence in our youth group.
Our Navigators are so great about just encouraging us and always being present, and they're like such good mentors to us. And I think of a lot of them as like my friend, but also like a friend that's a lot wiser than me and that can guide me through like a lot of the hard times in my life, or just like get me back on the right track if I'm distracted. One specific example that I can think of this is Jamie Scott. He's so good at like keeping us laughing, keeping us smiling, and he just always has such a positive attitude, but also he's such a good example, remaining positive when we're like hot and sweaty in the heat, and just like continuing to work even when we want to like take a water break or take a lunch break or kind of just like give up. Like I can think of a time when a Navigator has sent me an encouraging text that just like made my week, or showed up to like a sporting event like my soccer game or my cross country meet. Like they're just so good at being present in all parts of my life, and like I'm just really thankful for everything that they do.
I love having Navigators in our youth group because of the family element that you get. I think it's really important to have older people to go to for advice and to have to mentor you. And I personally benefited so much these past years in the youth group by having close relationships with really wise adults who really care about my spiritual walk and just being there for me.
To me, it's just really cool having like those mentors around, the Navigators around, because it's cool to have that wise adult presence that like is outside of just your parents. For me, like Jason Garner this summer was just a huge like impact on me. We'd always just mess around and joke around. He's always the first one to be like, oh, I'll pray for that, or he jumps right in and just gets to work whenever everybody else is kind of complaining or is hesitant to get started. He just is the first one in and the last one out. So it's just really cool to see that and know that like if there's anything going on in my life with any of, I can go and talk to any of the Navigators.
The Navigators have always been in a special part of my life and have just encouraged me, and they're all just like friends to me and family. And in particular, a few women and Navigators have just really encouraged me after I lost my mom, even before, but more so even after, have just texted me or called me on days that they know would be hard for me. And that has just meant a lot to me. So I'm really just thankful for the Navigators and their time that they spend with us and just their presence in our lives.
The Navigators are always great to have around because it's always someone nice to talk to. Like, I was Kim Northcott's co-pilot on the way home from Wichita, and it was probably 2 hours, and we just talked the entire way through. Everyone else was sleeping behind us, and we just talked. And I'm just really thankful for the impact they've had on my life and helped me to grow spiritually, and they've just been so great to have around.
This past year I was in a D group, and my leaders were Jordan and Kendall. I didn't know them before the D group started, but the first day I kind of hit it off with them, and we just bonded really fast. And I never really had someone else to look up to except for like some of our youth ministers here, but those guys kind of like brought me to know who I was and kind of helped me out in my life and just made me see things differently and just in a good way. And it just kind of changed my life in a certain way, and I kind of had to step back in my life. And it was a tougher time in my life, and it just kind of made me step back and realize what's going on, and it just changed my life. So thank you guys.
Our Navigators are the backbone of our ministry. They make us go. They are the driving force behind everything that we do. They are really great at tasks like driving a van or cooking or conquering a project, but they also are present with our students. I can think of moments where they have showed up when students are grieving, when they're hurting. I've seen them pray with students. I've seen them cry with students. I've seen them laugh with them. I've watched them show up at ball games. I have no idea the impact they've had with the number of coffees they've had or lunches they've had or time outside of here. So our Navigators are our everything here. They do everything for us and really make our ministry a healthy approach.